let's go. Buenos días. ¿Cómo llegaron aquí hoy? ¿Cuánto tiempo les demoró llegar o de dónde vienen? De La Victoria vienen algunos, ¿verdad? ¿Y cuánto demoró en llegar aquí hoy? 2 horas. ¿A qué hora se levantó? A las 2 de la mañana. Yeah. Well, there is a small group that came in from La Victoria, so basically they woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning today just to make sure that they were here by 5. The clinic should be open by 7.
So welcome to Los Encinitos. One of the great things about Los Encinitos is it's a perfect blend of the other two sites. In El Al, you're actually staying in a hotel, and in San Marcos, you are completely roughing it. And this is kind of the perfect combination of both of them. Everything we need is here on the compound. It's a fenced-in, it's a gated community, shall we say. The gate runs all the way around. Everything we need is here. That's the medical clinic. Right here are some of the dorms, the men and women's dorms. But if you're married, just another benefit, if you're married, you get a matrimonial suite that the sister sets up for us. It's absolutely wonderful, but you must be married. You cannot pretend to not to be married. And also, even though we're a secular mission, there is a chapel on site. So if you do have religious needs or you just need a place to go and be quiet, it's right here and it's fantastic. So down here is the dental clinic, and this is registration.
Los Encinitos is what's called an aldea, which is, I think, Honduran for small neighborhood. It started out apparently as an orphanage that did not pan out, so we had a good physical infrastructure. If you were to locate a clinic geographically, this is probably not where you want to put it because it is not particularly centrally located. Very few people actually live in Los Encinitos. Folks come from many, many miles to get here.
Coming to see the doctor is actually an event. They're really proud of what they are, and they really want to make sure that they do a good impression with the doctor. You get to see families that are dressing up the kids or putting on, the dress shoes before they come in. Some of them come from far away, so they walk in with their daily clothing, and what you get to see is that they just step aside behind the trees and change to their dress clothes before coming into the clinic. It's really exciting, the way that they actually manage themselves, the respect that they have for the clinic, and how exciting they are of actually coming in. So it's really exciting just to meet them at the gate.
This is Carlos's only his second year with us, but we don't know how we've gotten through without him. He's very kind to our Honduran friends, which is so important. They need to be treated with dignity, and he's lovely with our friends here. We have a total of 4,000 charts here for the people in this area, and they are as comprehensive as you would find in a physician's office. We keep their charts here. When they come in, they have a number that they give, then the number corresponds to the chart. That's pulled as they go through the registration process. He gives them numbers so that they can be seen in order, and they're very patient about that. They come up and they just sit. He sits them on the benches in order so that it makes it easy when we go out and call them. But he's really been a wonderful, wonderful asset.
Our responsibility here is just to make sure that we got that flow going. Let me make sure that I got everybody here, that everybody is going to have, enough patience that to keep them busy. Oh, it's already there. Okay. You guys got people. That will allow us an opportunity to actually make sure that we are going to be able to fit in everybody that comes in. And so far, we have been successful in doing that.
This is the medical clinic, and here we service both children and adults. The children always come in here. This is the pediatrician's room, and this is where the kids come in, often 5, 6 at a time if there's one family. And then these are the 2 adult assessment rooms, and they just come in, they'll meet with a doctor or a nurse practitioner.
Over the years, most of the kids have been healthy. My theory is once they get past the first year of life, they're pretty hardy, and if they can survive that, then they're in pretty good shape. There have been about 3 kids that we've kind of, almost 1 a year, that we've gotten very excited about and tried to really intervene. He was one of the sickest I'd ever seen here. He weighed 5.5 pounds. He was spitting up every single thing that she was feeding him, and she was feeding him great breast milk, and he'd been spitting up since age 1 month. He was completely malnourished and really looked like a Biafra baby. Muy Yaro? ¿Cómo se llama? Yaro? Jairo. We drove her down to Goose, and she went to San Felipe Hospital, had an x-ray, and they fixed his pyloric stenosis, which is a very simple operation.
If the family is willing, we can make those connections for people at the hospital. And it's very easy for us to do, but certainly challenging given their circumstances here.
Here's a little bit of scar. They went in, just made an incision just that far, went in, they just made a small little cut and opened it right up, and that allows all the breast milk to go through and nourish him. He seems to have bounced back completely.
In my regular job as a paramedic, I'm used to doing that. You do your best, and sometimes you don't hear how things turn out. So it's really, really wonderful when you get to see such a happy ending. A lot of times they aren't, and I really appreciate that she brought him back up to see us. It really made the week. What a gift!
So without Kate Pierce being here, what do you think? I mean,
He wouldn't have survived.
So this is the Los Encinitos Dental Clinic. All these people arrive early in the morning and they pick up their medical and dental files, which you see in their hands, and everyone is assigned a number. They wait out here sometimes for hours, but we try to keep the wait short. This is the actual dental clinic itself, with our team leader for the February Los Encinitos trip in the corner. That's David Jacobs. The way it's organized is everyone is assigned a number when they first come in. F is for filling, XT is for extraction, and C is for cleaning. They come in, the numbers are written down, and then they're crossed off when it's complete. This is a pretty average, ordinary day in terms of the numbers. They'll see 75, 80 people.
It may be efficient and well run, but it didn't happen overnight. Some years we have stations with one dentist who's only filling back teeth, another dentist is only filling front teeth, and someone's only removing, and someone's only cleaning. Other years we just say, okay, everyone gets what they get, just work down the line. Usually every dentist has an assistant. We get our electricity off the grid, and we have a generator because often the electricity will go down. We run with 2 autoclaves. When we get hopping, we need both autoclaves going. When we look at them outside, we can't always clearly see the problems, but when they're in the chair, we can. I always call this the negotiation phase. How many teeth are coming out? If we're going to fill their tooth. Some people are really broken down and tired, and they're just happy to, whatever you can do for them is fine. Probably all these people are usually wearing some of their best clothes, so we always try to bib them and give them a spit bucket. We try to, do as much as we can, as quickly as we can to get them in and out. Sometimes, especially because we don't have films here, x-rays, a tooth that you think is going to be easy is not.
One front tooth, particular one right here, is pretty tough shape. We're going to hope we can save it. The nerve hasn't been affected yet, we hope. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to decide what you can get done in a short period of time because you have so many people waiting.
It's kind of a tough balance between being compassionate and caring. You got a lot of people to take care of, and you only have a certain amount of time to do it. So you have to be a little bit mean isn't the word, but I would say a little bit tough too. Say, no, this is it. This is all you're getting. Any people who cannot do that are really not able to do very many trips. They burn out very quickly and are done.
The work that Cape Cares is doing it's fundamental and it's sublime at the same time. Something as simple as this water system. It's going to prevent so many maladies and illnesses. People who come into the medical clinic have lower GI problems, and they have diarrhea, they have reflux, and a lot of that has to do with the water that they drink.
2 years ago, we asked the nun, we said, is there anything that you need before we return? So the sister said that she would like us to help her to get the well operational. I spoke to Rotary Club when I got home, and they donated a $500 pump.
I did most of the thinking and the procurement, and Terence, I call him the sharp end of the spear. He did actually most of the work.
Terence has done an amazing amount of work. He's climbed up and down the mountain 8-10 times a day while he's worked here last year and this year. They dug it. I don't know how they dug it through the rock, but they found a place, but it's way down in the ravine, and they made the well, but it was up to us to lay all that piping.
Well, we're on our way to see the cistern. There have been a couple changes made in the past year. This kind of devolves into the graciousness on the part of all the Hondurans, especially the Hondurans that we meet. They were incredibly gracious. They were so appreciative of the well, of the pump, of the generator, and all that. In fact, they were so gracious that they didn't use it all that much because they were afraid, number one, of breaking it, and number two, that it might explode. And the reason they were afraid it might explode was because the generator they had before, in fact, kind of did explode. So when we came back this year, the new generator is in pristine condition. It had only been run for a couple hours. The water system's working. The tube is working. But they've moved the cistern from where it was last year to a new site on the far side of the campus. So we're going to go up and see some of the repairs that they've made, some of the changes, and so let's go on up. Part of the reason the water system is so important, not just for the compound, but for all the neighboring communities, is people come here, as you can see, and they get their water for the day. They get the water for their animals, they get the water for themselves, to bathe in, to clean their clothes, to drink, to bring to the rest of their family. And as we're coming up the hill, this young man has his bottles. He's recycling, that's good, and he just opens the cap, fills it in, and then the water continues to go in. So, thank you. Muchas gracias. As you can see, we're up where the cistern was last year, and it's not here. It's over there. And the reason it's over there, as I was saying, is because they were so gracious that they didn't want to tell us. They weren't quite confident in how to use the generator. There was a fear there that it was going to blow up. But it's still in use. The cistern is still in use. So, and the tube is still laid. The pump is still working. We tested it out yesterday. One of the other changes they've made is they've capped this. They've capped this much more firmly. Before, it used to just be some boards and random things thrown across, and so you had a lot of excrement, feces from animals. Dead animals would wind up in here. And now they've secured it with some pop rivets, and it's much better. They still have ventilation. Let's go on down and check out the well and see how that's looking. This is the generator that we got for the community last year. Well, we didn't actually get it. It was Dr. David Jacobs who got it. He spent his own money. This is a fantastic... I'm whispering because Pedro's sleeping in there. He's been sick all day. We don't want to wake him up. I would start it up, but it's so loud. So this thing is more than powerful enough to run the pump down at the well, even though we leave the generator here and just run a line about 400, 500 vertical feet down to the well. This is more than powerful enough. So let's go down to the well. We'll wake Pedro up later. There comes a time in your life when you think, my God, I'm fat. My God, I'm out of shape. And what do? You go to the gym. You buy a bike. You get a bench press for the basement. You go to the... Forget about all that. Come to Honduras, do this hill over and over again, 3 times a day. Do great work. Bring help to people who are welcoming and need it. Oh, And now that we're kind of far away and Pedro can't hear me, he's 70 years old, possibly more. And that guy does this every single day. And he walks to his farm, which is about 3/4 of a mile away, and then he comes back, and then he goes back. He is so incredibly strong, so incredibly healthy. So let's see some of his handiwork. This is the well, and your handiwork as well, because without the money that was donated, a lot of this wouldn't have been possible. So this is the well. And you can see the incredible security system that we have here to keep it safe from animals, as well as, oddly enough, there are Mrs. Kravitzes who live in the neighborhood and poke around. And now we open it up. And that is the well. And we built this frame last year, and this tube is the stabilizing force for the pump. It's a submersible pump. We take it, sink it down, we tie it off to that tree. It has to be fully submerged. We run a wire from the generator all the way down here, hook it up, and attach the pump to this tube, and off the water runs all the way up to the cistern. And this is the best water, the cleanest water in the surrounding area because of a bunch of different reasons. One, it's not just pure rainwater. It's not a stagnant pool. The water filters in from, that's a river right there. And the water seeps down through the sand, and so a lot of the natural and unnatural impurities are filtered out through the sand. It seeps over here, and it gets sent up. You wouldn't be able to find this water anywhere else in this area. So let's get back up to the cistern, see where it is, see what it's doing, but first I have to cover this back up, and then we're going to fly. And since I'm going to be back down here later, I'm just going to leave it half locked. Oh yeah, this is the nicest water I have seen here ever. What just happened was the culmination of 2 years worth of incredibly hard work, and we have successfully completed the cleanest water system that they have probably in 5 or 6 villages around here. The sister who lives here was overjoyed to have the water. A lot of money came from the Knights of Malta, a lot of money came from the Rotarians, and a lot of money came from just people who care about Cape Cares and gave money, and this is what your money does. I just want to thank everybody who made it possible. I was purely just an implement in the hands of my better. It was a privilege to be a part of it.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, not a dentist. And it's really a privilege just to be able to be related to a dental and a medical crew and be able to provide or to help out in some other way. The best part is that feeling that these doctors are actually making a difference in their life, and probably that's the reason why they are willing to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, walk for at least 2 or 3 hours to come here, and wait 2 more hours before the clinic gets open, just to make sure that they're going to be able to make it. The relevance is that they feel that someone actually is taking care of them, and they're really grateful for that. And that's why they keep on coming back.